Hello everybody and welcome back to Victoria 3, where we currently have this uprising going on, and I'm not exactly sure what to do about this. In 5 days they're going to get minus 1.12 due to exhaustion, because 42% of their population are radical. That's interesting. And when that happened, we didn't really see a huge radicalism decrease. That's interesting to note. Now, as of right now, we are making money, and we don't have anywhere to advance this front or defend a front. There's no options available there. So for the moment, we're going to continue to tick forward. They're now at minus 9.2 war support. In 6 days, they'll get minus... Oh, I see. They're fully occupied. That makes sense. It does have the dashed line there. So they're fully occupied at this time. They would not accept crushing the Polish secession at this point. They have 84 reasons not to. Primarily due to the short duration of the war. In fact, entirely due. But their war support is continuing to drop. They're now at minus 68 reasons. Minus 53. And I would like to note that our balance is going up, which is great. I'm very pleased about that. We're not really investing as heavily as we have been in the past, but we are paying down some of our money here. Tuscany declared neutrality. Okay, sure. So at this point, they're at minus 36 reasons. We have them fully occupied, so it'll just take a little while here, presumably. And yeah, we want to propose this peace deal under these terms. We crush the Polish succession, and we do not revoke the Prussian claims. Actually, we could do both, which would be really awkward, but we're not going to do that. All we're going to do is crush the Polish secession. And demanding this uses up 100 maneuvers. Okay. Interesting. I don't know how many maneuvers we have. It doesn't appear to be showing up over this way, but we haven't been doing much with diplomatic. Oh, hello. They're proposing the exact peace deal that we were just thinking about. So I believe we accept this peace deal. Let's double check this. We crush their secession, and that returns all of the Polish states. We do not revoke the Prussian claims. We accept this peace deal. Okay. And there we go. Beautiful. So that is now back in our territory. The market access here is 43%. Infrastructure usage is very, very low. Is this due to the devastation? Partially. But I would argue by no means entirely. We have a bureaucratic shortfall right now, apparently. Industrialists are currently unhappy, as are the intelligentsia. Let's think about what we can do here. They're unhappy because we are enacting protectionism, I think. They want to preserve mercantilism. That's strange to me. They should be interested in enacting protectionism. Whatever. They'll get over it, I'm sure. Okay, so we definitely do have an unproductive trade route. Let's go ahead and cancel that. And low market access in Posen, of course. I'm wondering if they got rid of a bunch of levels of railroad here. Maybe. Or it could simply be that our existing railways, yeah, we have very low employment here. So it could simply be that this needs to happen. We can go ahead and subsidize this. There we go. Cool. And we'll continue our construction. The good word of the revolution. We definitely want interest group approval from all of these people. So we will go ahead and take that. Beautiful. We're still running a bureaucratic shortfall. Is that true? I mean, our legitimacy is mega low. That's for sure. And what can we do about that? Out of curiosity. Something like this, moving in the industrialists into the monarchy over here, into the government, and then also moving in like the trade unions. That would help. Okay. Anybody else? Maybe the intelligentsia as well. And then call this. Call this good. That actually drops our legitimacy to -1%. So we keep the intelligentsia out of this. Yeah, the Junkers would have to be moved out. Noted. So this does drop our legitimacy slightly. But let's go ahead and do that. Cool. I'm also noticing that we're currently making 92k per month. Now, we're not maxing out our construction, and that's probably okay. I want to keep an eye on our market access in Posen. It did just move up by 5%. I think that's primarily due to the employment of the railway here. So I'm not too concerned about that right now. We're now up to 136k, and I'm wondering, can we afford to back off to high taxes? I think not right now. I would like to spend down our credit and get that interest reduced. But eventually. And we're also noticing our bureaucracy is not doing so well. So we should definitely produce more bureaucracy. So we can hop into our political lens and we can build a government administration, expanding in, say, North Rhine. Actually, I wanted to get that up to 5. There we go. Cool. So we'll get that underway. And we're not building at maximum speed, which is fine. This is completely okay because that's allowing us to spend down our credit. We're not running a deficit right now. And once we get this bureaucracy upgraded, which is in here somewhere, here it is, 12 weeks, then we should be making a decent amount here, which will help our construction efficiency. Noted. Now, our surplus has reduced, and that seems reasonably fine. There's another revolution brewing, the petite bourgeoisie. What are they upset about? 9 per week. They want to enact migration controls. We're already working on something. We literally cannot do that right now. So what can we do about these guys? A revolution would break out. The following states would secede: Pomerania, West Prussia, East Prussia, Mecklenburg, Silesia, North Rhine, Westphalia, and Hesse. And that's going to be 9 per week. Noted. So they really want to enact migration controls. We can't do that, though. Like, we physically cannot do that right now because we're enacting protectionism. We could work to suppress these guys for 200 authority. Other options. They're considered in opposition right now. That brings our legitimacy down to 0. I'm not surprised about that. So how can we improve their opinion of us? They endorse monarchy. They strongly oppose autocracy. They strongly oppose the National Guard as well. Okay. Noted. So, approximately how many... If they were to rebel, approximately how many troops would they bring with them? A pretty decent number. They would definitely rebel with a lot, even though their political strength in these are reasonably high, I suppose. Okay, sure. So what can we do to prevent this revolution? I had that pinned open. Yes, I'm aware that there are interest groups trying to overthrow the government. Okay, so minus 10% from Home Affairs. Uh-huh. So 56 radicalism on enacting migration controls. But what can I do about this? I'm not entirely sure. So yeah, that bumps up to 9%, which means that we've got very little time here before this actually fires. Noted. We can work to suppress them. Our authority isn't the highest, because we're currently suppressing the evangelicals and the rural, and collecting a bunch of consumption taxes, which is expected. So they're currently radical, reactionary, meritocratic, patriotic, and xenophobic. So what can we do here to interact with this, is the question. -5 from very low government wages. So we can turn the government wages up to here. That will help. But is it too late? They're no longer xenophobic. That's now inactive. It's still going up at the same rates. Okay. But we can only enact one law at a time. Like, we physically can't do this because we're already enacting protectionism. And that'll radicalize the industrialists. So what we need to do here, then, is find something else here. -1 from insurrectionary interest group. 37% of political strength in the interest group is radical. Okay. And the censorship. Okay. So what do we have here? Interesting. I'm not sure what we can do here to stop this at this point. Other than stopping enacting protectionism and enact the migration controls. But that will radicalize the industrialists. So perhaps we simply have to fight this. We will likely lose some of our regulars here when this happens. And this is going to be very interesting indeed. A monument to the king, huh? Statue of monarch for 3 prestige. Evangelical church would lose approval. That's okay. A revolutionary for our time. Must be heard. Okay. Cool. The industrials are no longer powerful. Now they're considered influential. Noted. Okay, so these guys are at this point at -2. They have 12% clout. So what else can we do to interact with this? Well, reduce their radicalism. That would help. For sure. Those subsidies are so expensive. So expensive. Wait, did we get switched over? I believe we did. Let's double check this. We switched over our development railway to... Oh, we didn't switch all of them to electric trains. Let's switch all of them over. That'll be a lot more infrastructure. And it'll cost us a little bit as we switch over. This revolution is going to be... Wait. It's not spreading anymore? Why did this stop? Maximum progress of 50. Can increase up to a maximum of political movement radicalism of the political movement to enact migration controls plus 50. Noted. Noted. The French people are migrating to Minnesota. Well, I hope they have fun with that. This actually started declining here. Beautiful. That's really, really good to see. And we're now making cash. We should no longer have... Oh, we have an inactive trade route. Sure, we can get rid of that. And then we do have some input goods shortages. For the moment, that's reasonably okay. How is our government legitimacy doing? It is improving somewhat. That's good. And this revolution is ticking on down. So that appears to be handled. I'm still not sure why. Polish people are migrating to West Virginia. Okay. Well, let's finish up our constructions here and continue to increase our income. I do think that increasing our government wages was very helpful. Increasing our military wages should, of course, be quite helpful as well. The question is, how much will that cost? 26K? You know what? Let's do it. Let's bump that up to even. And eventually we'll look to reduce our taxes. But right now is not the time for that. I want to let this interest level drop. How much would it cost us if we drop down to medium taxes? 220,000. That's a lot, but that would increase consumption tax rate. Oh, that would decrease it. Okay. Cool. Well, not necessarily cool. That's not exactly a good thing. We're going to continue our construction here. How are we doing GDP-wise? Things have faltered a little bit, but we're recovering back up. And I think that this falter was caused by Posen and their nonsense, is my guess. But we can see we have full market access here, and I'm not expecting to need to increase our railroads anywhere for a while. Yeah, look at this infrastructure. Our infrastructure is actually quite overbuilt, to the point where we could consider decreasing our railway sizes. Cannot be downsized due to the ongoing revolution. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. We're running a bit of a deficit right now. Let's see here. Government wages is very high, but we expect that. So military buildings, that's not that much, actually. It's pretty much just subsidies. Okay, let's go ahead and get the petite bourgeoisie positive. There we go. So now if we look at that, they're at +1 approval of us now. The revolutionary progression speed is still -1 per week. So that's still going to take a while to reduce that. Okay. But that's looking reasonably okay. And our constructions are coming along nicely. We're going to be done with all of these fairly soon. And that's good. Our expansions are slowing down. I think that's very, very clear. Dye got cheaper, sulfur got cheaper, artillery got cheaper. All good. I'm very, very interested in that. So that's great. Okay, so this revolution is going away. Slowly, but it's going away. We're going to eventually look to drop taxes. How much are we spending on construction? Not a huge amount. That's for sure. I want to check over here. Did we get this railway fully staffed? We did. Okay. So hypothetically, I'm just looking at costs here. If we were to unsubsidize this, minus 17.1K. Yeah, that's not super surprising. Looking at the price of transportation, it's very low. We are going to have to start downsizing our railways to some degree, because we're overbuilt at this moment. That said, we may also want to make our way to... Let's see, we have our electric railways here. What do we need for the top-level railways? And what does that actually get us? So for railways here, diesel trains. So we need compression ignition for that. Noted. Oil is, I think, going to be interesting for us to get. We don't really have any good ways to get oil. So electric trains might end up being our best bet for the time being. But I definitely would like to start downsizing some of these. So we can look here and see we can drop some level of infrastructure in many of these locations. Or we can leave our infrastructure where it's at and just continue to expand up, which may end up being our best bet given our radicalism right now. Human rights have been unlocked. Cool. So we're about 21 weeks away from, actually 20 weeks away from this revolution completely going away. And that'll be good. It's very cloudy only right here. That's exciting. Sure. And how are we doing on spending down our credit at this point? Minus 50.1k on interest. Okay. Noted. But we're definitely not constructing at full bore anymore. And I think there's a couple of reasons for that. I think primarily a big part of it is that our number of peasants is nearly nil. Is it nil? I don't see peasants in this list. We have no more peasants. Okay, noted. So at this point, what we really need is more workers. Migration controls is the opposite of what we want. Unless we can force them to stay in our country, I suppose. The industrialists do not like this change. Basically, everyone else does. But the industrialists did just drop in their power. So maybe that's okay. Ironclads, electricity, and rubber. We should probably look to produce additional electricity. Yes, I think that that's probably true. We'll expand Silesia twice. And then we'll expand Posen up to 15. I'm going to take North Rhine to 15. Anhalt to 10. Cool. Now that's going to take us deficit spending a little bit. But that is not quite maxing out our construction. We'll get all of these good to go, and we're going to stop our other constructions for a couple of weeks until we drop down to like 25 weeks until completion over here. I think that's okay. That should be reasonably fine. Otto von Bismarck has retired, the leader of the Junkers. I like it. That's good. This revolution is very nearly gone. And I want to check in real quick on the price of electricity. So we can see that our electricity price is very, very high. We have an input goods shortage of electricity, and we should be solving that here pretty soon. I'd also like to produce some ironclads in shipyards. So those are produced in shipyards. Can we get more shipyards? Or are we maxed out on that? Oh, we definitely can. They just don't make money. Noted. Are we subsidizing those by default? Let's check in here real quick. Yeah, we do subsidize those by default. Got it. These are naval bases, not shipyards. Let's see. Are those an urban building? They are an urban building. They're not automatically expanding, and they're also not being subsidized. We will go ahead and subsidize them. And we're going to look to increase these a little bit. That's going to be expensive. I'm aware of this. So we'll get that going. We are working on electricity. Do we have any way to produce rubber? I don't believe so. Rubber is produced in what? Rubber plantations? Yeah. That's definitely not something we can do here. And these are both negative in productivity. Okay. So we're going to run a deficit for a little bit here while we work all this up. That's fine. We're doing okay in terms of our credit, so that's not a huge concern. How's France's GDP doing? They are definitely continuing to skyrocket, and I think that's just due to their population difference. Our population is actually growing by 1.31%, which is not bad, but we want our population to continue to increase. We can see our war population there dipping down. Hilarious. We definitely want interest group approval. Cool. So there we go. We are now about 16 weeks until our power plants expand, and that should dramatically reduce the price of power, which should also dramatically reduce our amount of subsidies, which is what we want. That is exactly our goal here. But it is about time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we will continue to expand our input goods shortage areas. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including Casserole, ALS Gamer, Kentuin, James, Shadow Wolf, Spartan News, Nick Smarty, Video Games Are Not Real, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Unisil, Kadra, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time. That's definitely the button I'm looking for. Fantastic.